We are honoured to welcome the Secretary of State for Work and Pensions, the Right Honourable Stephen Crabb, who will now address the Kehillah.
Your Excellency, Ambassador Regev, Chief Rabbi, Rabbi Nim, Mr. Mayor, Member of Parliament Mike Freer, ladies and gentlemen, and Chaveirim of B'nai Akiva, good evening. I'd like to start, first of all, by saying how genuinely honoured and privileged I am to be with you today, to join with you in celebrating Israel's Independence Day, and in so doing, to remember the many sacrifices made to protect that independence. Today, the remarkable sense of fellowship and unity felt in Israel and in Jewish communities all around the world as we remember those who have given their lives in the defense of Israel is something truly beautiful and inspirational. As I have been told, their sacrifice was a true Kiddush Hashem and has helped Israel continue to provide a Jewish homeland. Almost every Israeli citizen has a relative, a close friend, or knows someone who has lost their life defending their country. When the sirens across Israel sounded earlier today, even the cars on the motorways came to a stop, and people stood in respect for those who have fallen. A country united as one to remember their fallen. May their memory be a blessing. Yehi Zichram Baruch. We are, of course, also remembering today the victims of terror attacks on Israelis. Our thoughts tonight are with their families too, and with those who were killed and wounded in despicable and cowardly attacks. Today, as ever, it is all too clear that the safety of the Jewish people cannot be taken for granted. But I would like to assure you that the government of the United Kingdom, of which I am a member, does not take the safety of the Jewish people for granted. The need for a Jewish state remains as crucial now as it was in 1948. And as we celebrate Israel's 68th birthday tonight, we recall that this relatively young country, young but of course with deep ancient roots, has endured so much. It has also achieved so much. And my hope is, and I'm sure you will all agree with me, that the state of Israel will continue to thrive, but that one day its people will be able to live in peace in a land they call their home. I visited Israel for the first time in 2007 with some colleagues from Parliament on a trip organised by the Conservative Friends of Israel. And seeing firsthand the challenges Israel faces every day was a real eye-opener. But I was struck by the vibrancy and the diversity of its society, and hugely impressed with the spirit of innovation, resilience, and good humour that characterised so many of the Israelis I met. As a Christian, I've always felt an affinity with the Holy Land, and it was a delight to see places that I had learned about during my own childhood at Sunday schools and in the pages of the scriptures that I had been encouraged to read when I was a boy. And I was struck, and the Chief Rabbi mentioned this as well in his address, about just how small Israel is. In fact, it is identical, almost identical in size to my own homeland of Wales, around 20,000 square kilometres. With hills, especially around Galilee, just as green as the ones back home in Wales, but with perhaps fewer sheep. And I was able to drive around most of Israel in just a few days, walking around the old city of Jerusalem and seeing the Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Armenian quarters left a deep impression on me. The freedom and right to worship guaranteed by Israel ensures that people of all faiths, and none, can enjoy the history and share in all the experiences of this wonderful Holy Land. And at a time when the Christian population of the Middle East is in steep decline due to systematic and sustained persecution, Israel continues to be a place where Christians are welcomed as friends. Israel's Christian community, as with all of its diverse citizens, are free to live their lives as they wish, and this should be celebrated. Now, I don't think I can speak tonight without acknowledging the great anxiety faced by many here today at the repugnant rise in anti-Semitism, both in Europe and here in the UK. Make no mistake, it is a stain upon our nation. We have seen that anti-Semitic views and beliefs persist in certain parts of British society. Moreover, I believe a mistaken notion of what tolerance is has allowed a blind eye to be cast far too many times in the face of casual anti-Semitism. It is an affront to the British traditions of liberty for anyone to seek to tolerate, explain away, rationalise, or defend anti-Semitism, from wherever quarter it may come. And again, I want to reassure you that this government has an unequivocal zero-tolerance approach to this racist ideology. We need to make it clear that anti-Semitism, whether it is expressed through the pernicious illiberal boycotts and sanctions bandwagon, or through the pouring out of hate on Twitter, or through any other means, is totally unacceptable. And we should, in particular, hold those in public life to the highest standards on this. So, I am proud of the steps that we have taken and will continue to take as a government to protect the Jewish community. The UK's Jewish community is unquestionably part of the fabric of our society, and the contribution of Jewish people in business, in media, in politics, in culture, in all parts of our national life has been truly immense. And I'm especially pleased to be here this evening with some good friends from the Houses of Parliament who will be known to many of you, not least my, unfortunately, my excellent Pensions Minister, Baroness Ros Altman, a member of this shul, whose own contribution to this community and her contribution to this community and involvement with B'nai Akiva are deep and long-standing. I was going to say what a pleasure it is to be with her this evening, but unfortunately she's been kept back at the House of Lords. So. I count she's working very, very hard. I count many Jewish members in both the Commons and the Lords as amongst my closest friends, in particular Stuart Pollack, Lord Pollack, who has done so much marvellous work through the Conservative Friends of Israel. Great work in educating and informing politicians about the facts, just the facts, when it comes to Israel. More widely, the list of the UK's partnerships now with Israel, through trade and through collaborations in medical research, cybersecurity and technology, is almost endless, and the benefits to our two countries are indeed enormous. Last year, in my previous role as Secretary of State for Wales, I was pleased to announce millions of pounds of investment into South Wales from Israeli companies. On the same day of Wales's European Championship qualification football match against Israel, when we had a delegation of Israeli investors visiting Cardiff that day. Now, in the football, Israel held us to a goalless draw, but off the field, that inward investment from Israel meant new jobs being created, millions of pounds of new expenditure with local suppliers, for which Wales and I were truly grateful. Bilateral trade alone between the UK and Israel now exceeds £3 billion and has exceeded £3 billion in each of the last 4 years, which is a remarkable figure. And in the field of science, British and Israeli researchers work together to tackle some of the world's most challenging diseases, including cardiovascular and liver disease, diabetes and Parkinson's. In 15 joint research projects funded by BIRACS, research is being done on the use of heart cells to restore damaged heart muscle, and the use of breath tests for the diagnosis of diseases. Projects like these show how much can be achieved by working together. In contrast, we can see in so many places around the world how much harm can be done where communities refuse to engage or seek to undermine peace between our countries. The Prime Minister has been clear in condemning Palestinian incitement to violence, from schools that are named after terrorists to official Palestinian Authority television programs which glorify attacks against the Israeli people. For this to be acceptable throughout Palestinian society is wrong, driving children, some as young as the age of 11, to take a knife to try and kill an Israeli. We are clear on this, and our Prime Minister is clear on this. The recent wave of violence is unacceptable, and Israel has the right and indeed the obligation to defend its citizens. And I believe that the success of a lasting two-state solution rests upon the Palestinian Authority starting to teach its young people about peaceful coexistence rather than radicalizing them. In the Jewish community here in the UK, there are some amazing examples amongst a great number of youth groups and organisations that play such an important role in people's lives in this same spirit. Finally, I would like to pay tribute to B'nai Akiva, who have organised this event tonight. I know that the education and love that you instill in young members of BA is inspiring, whether through your camps, your education meetings, or the many different events that keep Jewish youth engaged in their faith. On behalf of the UK government, I'd like to thank you for your dedication, and in particular, the leadership team led by David Rubin, the members of and the alumni for their tireless work both here or in Israel. As I said earlier, Israel will endure. And as it is often stated, and I'm happy to restate to you, my friends, on this special night, Am Yisrael Chai. So as we remember those who died defending the State of Israel and celebrate tonight the 68th birthday of the State of Israel, I really want to thank you for including me in this and wish Israel a very, very happy Independence Day, and as we say in Wales, Chag Sameach Lakulam.